got something for you. We got something for you, you. It's something Megapod shiny. It's wrapped in Megapod plastic. Put on your Megapod jammy. It's time for Megapod-tastic. 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 Megapod-tastic.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Crazy Joe's Concession Stand. I am Crazy Joe. Happy to have you here. And I wanted to talk about a couple things tonight. For one thing, I am fresh out of seeing The Exorcist Believer. I went to see The Exorcist Believer tonight. Now, I'll be honest with you. Saw the initial trailer. Thought it looked pretty good. But I'm not the biggest fan of the Exorcist franchise. I use the word franchise there because the original film is truly a classic. But I've seen two of the sequels, well now three, and up till now, I really haven't been enamored with any of the sequels I saw. It does seem like a one-off story. And I watched the TV series. There was a TV series on Fox a couple of years ago with Gina Davis. Quite frankly, that was okay. But I never feel like that I need, like, the Exorcist doesn't feel like a franchise that really needs to keep going. Well, I mean, no franchise needs to keep going. But some lend themselves to sequels more than others. And The Exorcist kind of feels like a one-shot, more or less. I mean, yeah, you could have other exorcisms, but what ties it all together, right? I mean, the same characters aren't going to get possessed again. That would seem highly unlikely. So the connections seem loose at best. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing that lends itself to a franchise. I've never seen The Exorcist 2. The sequels that I've seen are The Exorcist 3 and Dominion prequel to The Exorcist. The Exorcist franchise is a little confusing because there are now either 6 movies or 5 movies, depending on how you look at it. And what I mean by that is you've got the original Exorcist, you've got The Exorcist 2, The Heretic, which I've never seen and is widely considered to be one of the worst sequels of all time. Then you've got The Exorcist 3, which is fairly well regarded. I don't like it. I find it to be very, very dull. And then you had Exorcist The Beginning, which was a prequel. But now this is where things get confusing. That is your 4 previous Exorcist films in a nutshell, except The Exorcist The Beginning was shot by 2 different directors. One director was fired. They hired a new director. A lot of it was reshot. But then the original version was released as Dominion prequel to The Exorcist. So it's, in a sense, the same movie, just recut by a different director. But there were so many reshoots, it's also kind of a separate movie. So I don't know if Exorcist Believer, is this the 6th or the 5th movie? It really depends on if you want to count Dominion as the as a film onto itself or not. But Exorcist Believer, I gotta say, having just come from seeing it, is quite good. It was really good. In fact, it's the first sequel to The Exorcist that I've seen that I thoroughly enjoyed. And I would definitely recommend checking it out. But my review of The Exorcist Believer is to come at a later date. I will shoot a video where I do my full review of The Exorcist Believer. But that's not really what I wanted to stream about. What I wanted to stream about, and I'll tell you, I'm walking a fine line here because I don't consider myself to be a drama channel. I'm not one to, shake up the hornet's nest and try to start beefs with other YouTube creators. It's not really what I'm about, but I have serious issues with comments made by another YouTube personality this week, and that is Mid-Level Media. Mid-Level Media on YouTube. He made some comments on Twitter that I am fundamentally opposed to, and I will share with you right now the tweets. So here we are. Boom. It's Mid-Level Media on Twitter yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? October 4th. No, a couple days ago. He says, I hope this bombs like no other. I hope this bombs like no other. He is wishing failure upon The Exorcist Believer, a film he has not seen. He hasn't seen the film. He doesn't know if it's good or bad, because how could you? You didn't see it. And he's just wishing for a movie to bomb sight unseen. And I have a real problem with that. Because what does Mid-Level Media gain from this movie bombing? This movie not doing well at the box office, what does he get out of that? Seriously, it's not like he gets a financial gain if this movie doesn't do well. It's not like he has a horse in this race where this is going to work out for him. But hundreds of people put hard work into that movie. Writers, directors, actors, the grips, the best boys, hundreds of people work on a movie. And you're going to wish ill upon the hard work they put in. Because why? Because it's something you don't want to see? Well, don't go see it. You don't have to go see it. But you don't have to wish ill upon it either. It just seems mean-spirited. And like I said, this isn't a movie that I was particularly excited about. But at the same time, I had no desire to see this film fail. If anything, I want to see more movies be a big hit. Movie theaters are struggling right now. Movie theaters are having a hard time. There haven't been a whole lot of hits this year. I mean, Barbie did well. Oppenheimer did well. The Spider-Man movie did well. I mean, there's a handful. But there was also a lot of movies that came out and really disappointed at the box office this year. And theaters are still kind of in a recovery period after the pandemic. And these theaters need big hits. And every time a movie comes out and is a big hit, it's good for theaters. It's good for the business. It's good for the industry. And I want to see more hits. And I don't care if it's a movie I'm interested in or a movie I'm not interested in. Any movie that can come out and move the needle is just good for the business. And if you love movies, that's what we need. And that's what we want to see. I hope The Exorcist Believer is a huge hit this weekend, regardless of my opinion of the film. Just so happens I liked the movie. But good or bad, it'd be wonderful if this was a $1 billion movie, because it would be good for theaters. It would be very good for theaters. It would be good for the business. And that's the kind of thing I want to see. And I don't understand wishing ill upon a film. We also saw this from, not only, but mainly the Snyder Bros. But we saw this with The Flash this year. They went in just with an overwhelming desire for that film to fail, like they had a vested interest in it. And it's kind of sickening. And so this guy, Moonlight Warrior, he's a guy I follow. I don't know much about this dude. He kind of popped up around the time The Flash was coming out. He's like a hardcore Flash fan. So I follow him. He says, piss off, dude. People work their asses off and you're sitting here playing armchair critic. Pathetic. You'll notice I gave him a heart there because I agree completely. but I I started engaging with him. You'll see here. I asked why, but he didn't answer that. I'm trying to find the one where he answered because I did have a back and forth going with him for a little while there. If I can find it, you would think that my responses would um, be towards the top, but they're not. Huh. Maybe it's this. Now he says, I want all movies to succeed except this one. Doesn't make sense. Maybe this is it. Yes, here we go. Here he goes. He says, don't usually root for failure for any movie, but this is my one. Just give me that. Honestly, though, I want the studios to learn a lesson through all these lackluster requels. And I see, here we go again. He's calling it lackluster, having not seen the film. Well, I have seen the film, and it's solid. I'm tired of my all-time favorites legacy being trampled on. It's complete arrogance. To which I responded, but the legacy isn't trampled on. The original is unaffected. Not a frame of that movie is altered by the existence of a sequel. If it was, that legacy is already tarnished because Exorcist 2 is considered one of the worst sequels ever made. Apparently, he did not understand this, despite the fact that it makes perfect sense. So, because Exorcist 2 exists, I should continue to encourage and support more mediocre trash sequels. You're making zero sense, dude. Despite the fact that I'm making perfect sense. I said, no, it makes total sense. You're arguing that it tarnishes the legacy, but you can't tarnish the legacy. And Exorcist 2 is proof of that. Because if you could tarnish the legacy, it would already be tarnished. And the fact that people are still holding up The Exorcist as a classic 50 years later proves that its legacy is not tarnished. Exorcist 2 is proof of that. You cannot tarnish its legacy. Its existence does nothing to tarnish the original. And we don't know if this is a, quote, trash sequel. Haven't seen it yet. And I went on to say, but my friend Dan at the Dan Reviews It YouTube channel did see it. And he said it was really good. So he says, well, if Dan likes it, I'm on my way now. And well, he should listen to Dan because I did. I sent Dan a link, by the way. Dan was actually one of the first people on YouTube to review the movie. He got his review up because he went to an early screening just like maybe an hour after the review embargo lifted. So he was one of the first people on YouTube to review it. So I invited Dan. We got some people here. Tom says, we don't wish films to fail. We just want well-written and well-acted films. Absolutely. Fully agree. Anthony says, every time a soulless cash grab flops at the box office, an angel gets its wings. And that's the beauty of it. This is not a soulless cash grab. This is a really well-done movie. Jacob says, good to see you, Jacob. Good to see you. Praying a movie that is a failure is crazy. Agreed. Absolutely. Anthony says movies like The Exorcist Believer flopping are a good thing because it means maybe studio. Nope. Bullshit, Anthony. Bullshit. It is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. None of these movies flopping is a good thing. It's bad for the business. It's bad for the industry. Yeah. Someone says, Raffle Minim, didn't you encourage people not to see Saw X? Did no such thing. Did no such thing. I said I wasn't interested in seeing Saw X. Didn't tell other people not to see it. Making me The Exorcist Believer aims to scare up at least 30 million in the box office debut. That's the thing. I don't even know if that's good or not because I don't know what the budget of this movie is. Horror movies tend to be a little bit lower budget, so that might be a pretty good number for The Exorcist. Whereas for other films, it would not be so good. And Figure Drawing says, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment watching Crazy Joe treat opinions like they are objective. Yeah, that's the thing. The opinions are very objective, and this guy wants to see them fail. It's a shame. It's an absolute shame. Mickey Me says still haven't seen the original. It just came out on 4K. I would definitely recommend checking it out. The 4K disc is great. Greg is here from Greg's Game Room. Wow, Cracky is live. Good to see you, Greg. Just booked my room for Dragon Con. I got the Marriott. My friend. So, and Greg says, what did I think of Ahsoka? I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it. I mostly enjoyed it. It's by no means my favorite of the Star Wars TV shows, like not even close. It's so tied to the animated stuff, and quite frankly, I'm not particularly crazy about the animated stuff. I don't know, something about it, particularly Clone Wars. Rebels is much better than Clone Wars, but I really don't like the Clone Wars show. It's too much set in that prequel era. I think what it comes down to is I'm just not crazy about the Jedi. Luke and Rey are cool because Luke and Rey are like separated from the rest of the Jedi. You know, like the whole Yoda, too old to begin the training. I think that's the thing. Luke and Rey don't have traditional Jedi training, and that makes them kind of compelling characters. But when I go back and watch these prequel era Jedi, they're so stoic that it kind of bores me. Like they're not fun characters. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of the prequel era. RJ's here. Hello. What's going on with The Exorcist? So it's getting really bad reviews. Yeah, we're talking about a YouTuber by the name of Mid-Level Media who is wishing for The Exorcist to fail at the box office. And I'm not down with that. I believe that is bad for the business. It is bad for theaters, especially at a time, and this is something I didn't even get into yet. A lot of big movies have been pushed back due to the writer's strike. And hang on a second, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second here. A lot of big movies have been pushed back due to the writer's strike, and things like Dune and Ghostbusters 4, they were supposed to come out this year. They've been pushed back. There's still some big movies coming out, obviously, but a lot of the ones that a lot of people were expecting stuff from aren't coming out. Theaters kind of need whatever they can get to hit. And horror has been very, very dependable this year for the theaters. So it would be wonderful if The Exorcist is a huge hit. It would be good for theaters. It would be good for the business. It's the kind of thing, quite frankly, we need. I'll tell you, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has a movie coming out next week, concert film. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, and I have 2 daughters. You would think having 2 young daughters that they would be like hardcore into Taylor Swift. They're not. So I'm not even getting dragged off by my kids to see the Taylor Swift movie. So Taylor Swift, the point is Taylor Swift's not my thing. Not my thing. But I looked in the mobile app, the Regal mobile app, and was checking out the theaters. Every theater in my area on Friday and Saturday night for the Taylor Swift is booked solid. Booked absolutely solid. And I think it's wonderful. In fact, I was talking to the manager of my theater today coming out. I said, "You ready for the onslaught next week?" He was laughing about it. And I said, "This is so great for you guys. This is so great. At a time when the theaters need big hits, because the theaters are kind of struggling a little. And something like this comes along, the Taylor Swift movie, it's wonderful for the theaters. And I applaud that. And I will never root against the theaters. Whatever movie the people want to see. If you need to make Little Fartin' Ricky, farts out Mozart or something, like something incredibly brain dead. If people want to go see it, that's a wonderful thing. Trey says, "What do I think about young Jedi? You mean like Padawans? I mean, they're all right, I guess. Like I said, I'm not crazy about the Jedi overall." Greg says, "Dragon Con will be interesting next time. Just you, me, TJ, and Splorin, Tampa J." I hear Nola Deej is circling the drain about coming again. So that's kind of cool. We might have Nola Deej with us. But yeah, it's gonna be odd not having Adam there. It's gonna be very, very strange not having Adam there. But it is what it is. Is RJ still here? RJ, you still there? I don't know. So yeah, that's the point I wanted to get at here. And I'm not trying to start some kind of online beef with mid-level media. I don't know the guy. Might be a really, really nice guy. But I can't get behind this notion of wishing movie theaters to fail. I can't get around people having this just desire to see movies fail at the box. If you want to see movies fail at the box office, you hate movies. I mean, that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. We're at a time where we need things to pop. We need things to hit. And I don't know how you could wish the industry to do badly. Greg says, "I heard that Taylor Swift concert movie has already sold 100 million in tickets." See, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Daniel says concert showings are an excellent idea for theaters. Yeah, now Beyonce's getting on it. Beyonce's doing that. Greg says, "Shouldn't I be standing in front of a concession stand?" You're right, Greg. You're right. I changed my background to Suncoast only because we were doing the MME stream the other day, and Max has made his backdrop a Blockbuster Video, so I thought I'd go with a video store too, and I went with the video store that's closest to my heart. I worked at a Suncoast, so I have a great love for Suncoast. So there you go. Figure Drawing says, "Sound of Freedom is a horridly embarrassing false fake story." But you see, that's a little different though, because that movie wasn't really making money for the theaters. That movie was its box office was fake. They were buying the ticket. That was a really complicated one. It was playing to empty theaters because they bought the tickets themselves and were giving them away. That was a scheme. From what I understand, the theaters weren't actually seeing any profit from that. From what I hear, I may have the details wrong. I know Matt Jarbo knows more about it, and I think Dane from Actual Fandom knows more about it. If they were here, they could get into the details of that. But that wasn't like a legit box office hit. So there you go. And Daniel says, "Strange position to take for someone who collects physical media." Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's because he doesn't care about the box office. He only cares about DVDs and Blu-rays. I don't know. But you got to understand, if the box office fails, it's going to affect home video. You know, like these things, if anything, there's anything we've learned over the last couple of years, it's that the box office is very important. Jacob says, "Joe, do you see James Gunn says Batmite will not be in Peacemaker season 2? Were we expecting him to be? I hadn't heard that he was. So there you go. Hey, RJ's here. Do you watch Rob the Wonderful? Hey, welcome to the party.
Hello.
I'm sorry, Trey. I don't know who Rob the Wonderful is. I've never seen Rob the Wonderful. Have you seen Rob the Wonderful, RJ?
Can't say I have, no.
Yeah, maybe he's on YouTube. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I just never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither. So, what do you think? Are you familiar with mid-level media?
No, never heard of him.
He's a YouTuber. His big thing is, I think, DVD, Blu-rays. He's a physical media guy. Like that's the thrust of his channel: DVD collecting and what's new on Blu-ray. And I watch a lot of those guys. But he was saying that he hopes that The Exorcist Believer bombs like no other film. And I feel like we've seen a lot of this lately. We saw a lot of this with The Flash. We see a lot of celebration when movies fail now. The fandom menace guys. If a God forbid a Disney movie fails, they're having parties on their channel. And it just feels like do we care about movies? How do you care about movies if you want to see the box office suffer?
Yeah, no, I get that. I think from just to see it from their perspective, maybe not that I agree with it, but just to kind of look and kind of see how they're feeling about it. It might just be a case of how they feel about what's the word for it? Like kind of like, well, we have to save entertainment by letting bad movies fail. You know, we actually want good movies to succeed, but bad movies should fail. Kind of. I've seen that a lot, especially over the summer. You know. Where the mindset was kind of like, well, these movies are actually good movies. That's why they did well. The bad movies are what's failing, you know? So,
yeah. But it's like, if you look at the reviews, that wasn't even true though. Cause the movies that were failing were all getting positive reviews. That's the thing too. It's all subjective. It's so subjective. It's like, you could say, well, I want this to fail cause it's bad, but other people don't think it's bad. Like,
yeah, no, I get you. It's just, you know, it's kind of just, it all comes down to subjectivity, you know, which is kind of a lost art sometimes. It kind of depends. Yeah, well, the thing is, like, I don't think you have to wish for Exorcist to fail. I don't think it's going to do that well based on what I saw. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to do like amazing.
I don't think it's going to be $1 billion film, but I do know, you know, these horror movies usually come in at a pretty low budget. So I don't know. Like, they don't need as much to be a hit, you know?
No, that's true. I mean, the thing I saw though, which was kind of interesting, is that apparently they paid like $400 million to get the rights to the Exorcist property, and these movies ideally need to make at least, you know, that kind of money. I mean, God, you hope, right? But I don't know, because aren't they making a trilogy? I think they're making a trilogy.
They are. So
Yeah.
that I'd say that sounds pretty reasonable though. 400 million over 3 movies. So that's, you got the box office take on 3 separate movies there, plus the home media. A lot of this stuff's gonna do well when it hits digital too.
Mhm.
And you know, Sean O'Rourke recently did a really good video where he was explaining the economics and how much the tax breaks come into play, because we always hear about, you got to like Exorcist Believer shot in Georgia, and that's one of the big states for tax breaks for shooting there. So how much do they get back for that? I don't know. I think they'll do respectable. I don't think you're looking at $1 billion movies, but I think over the course of 3 movies, they'll probably do fairly well with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope at least to get. I mean, that's kind of what I think they're looking for. I'm not sure they're going to get that, because I think that they just kind of like a bad release date, because I think you know, Five Nights at Freddy's is coming out later in October. I think that's going to kind of eat a lot of the same audience a bit, plus the younger audience, the younger crowd too. I'm not sure.
That's a weird one though. That's a weird one because Universal keeps putting these movies. They did it with the 2 Halloween movies, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Now they're doing it with Five Nights at Freddy's. They keep doing this release strategy where they put it in theaters and on Peacock day and date. And it's like,
I think it's something that they have in a contract with Blumhouse. I guarantee it. Like, there must have been some contract they got into. It's like, you need to release at least 1 or 2 movies on our service, or for some reason. It has to be a contract thing, because I don't see any of the reason why they're doing it.
yeah.
Especially now, you know, if this was like 2 years ago, maybe it'd make more sense. But now, no.
But that's the thing too about the horror audience. The horror genre has a very loyal audience, and they do go out and support these movies. Like the Halloween movies, I think did fairly well, even though they were playing on television. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, although that's the thing. Like, as soon as I heard that David Gordon Green was directing this new Exorcist movie, I kind of lost interest because I really did not like the last Halloween movie. I was very disappointed by it. Because I liked the first two, which I know isn't popular because a lot of people hated Halloween Kills. I actually didn't mind Halloween Kills. But I thought the last movie they bungled the whole thing up. Sadly, I was not happy with what they did with it.
I have very mixed feelings on the last one. I don't think it's good. But I also think it's really fascinating.
The thing is, like, it had interesting ideas.
Yeah.
I liked the concept of what they were trying to go with it. It's just that they didn't execute it very well. That's the issue. I like the idea of being like, oh, someone else kind of becomes the new Michael Myers because he gets treated by the town and because they're afraid of, like, like that whole system of like the cycle repeating itself. That's interesting, but then they do nothing with it and they focus on like a really bad romance and like a bunch of other stuff that I just don't care about. And if it's supposed to be the final movie with Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers, the fact that we barely even get that in that movie, it's very disappointing. That's not, I don't know.
We have to do a little fact checking here. Eric McLeod says Little Mermaid lost a fortune. It did not. It did not at all. Little Mermaid actually did quite well. It opened under expectations, and a lot of people thought it was going to bomb, but it actually had legs, did well all summer long. It kind of played the long game. It actually, and like Vince here says, Little Mermaid made nearly $600 million in theaters with a budget of half that, even if they couldn't write some of the marketing off. No way it lost a fortune. That's very accurate.
Oh yeah. It didn't lose money. I do think for Disney, like, it was a bit of a disappointment because I do think they were hoping it'd make a lot more, just because that's the track record of the live action remakes. They just make a lot of money. But I mean, not everything could be. I think it's just the international box office let that movie down. I think the controversy hurt it too. I still haven't seen it because personally, I'm just not interested in the Disney live action remakes at this point anymore. I tapped out after what was the last one I saw? I think the last one I saw in theaters was Aladdin. Actually, I liked Aladdin fine enough, but I was like, I'm good. You know what it was? It was The Lion King. After Lion King, I'm like, nope, I'm good.
See,
no more.
here's the thing. I've liked most of them. Most of the Disney live action remake. I haven't liked them all, but I've liked most of them. But I actually, and Blue Jay is here. Welcome to the party, Blue Jay. This is a hot take. I know this is a hot take, but I don't really like The Lion King. Even the animated. Something about The Lion King. The Lion King never appealed to me. Of all the Disney
like saying
movies,
you hate Mickey Mouse. It's like synonymous with Disney.
Oh, did I just come into a hot take that he don't like Lion King?
Yeah, I don't really like The Lion King.
It's Hamlet for kids. How can you hate here?
I don't know. I just never appealed to me. That one never appealed.
I mean, it's just your opinion. That's okay. I'm not going to be clutching my pearls about it. It's all good.
I'll say this. I like the live action, the Tim Burton live action Dumbo. I've seen that a couple times. I've decided I like that better than the animated. Because
it's a very different. Because here's the thing: the original Dumbo really doesn't have a story. It's kind of just like Dumbo is a very sad life.
It sure has racism.
That part hasn't aged well, but I mean, it's cool that Dumbo actually flies and how they do all that. So the remake basically was just like they had to basically make an entirely new story. I mean, they kept some stuff, but like not. I mean, because Dumbo, like, the only thing I was kind of mad about is they kind of cut out the pink elephant scene, which I know why they did. You can't have Dumbo getting drunk, but I mean, come on, that scene was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of tried to do something similar to it, but it was a weird movie, but I didn't mind it. Like, I actually thought it, they were trying some stuff. Like, it was weird though, because like I felt like I was like, are they trying to like make Michael Keaton's character like an evil Walt Disney? That's what that felt like to me. If you've seen the Dumbo movie, you know what I'm talking about.
That's an interesting take. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, kind of.
I mean, even like the whole theme park and like the idea like of like the future and everything and all that. It's just like very Epcot like,
I have not seen the live action Dumbo. Excuse me.
Most people sadly have not watched it.
Yeah, I never necessarily give much of a crap about the live action movies. I would watch them. I don't know. I don't see them in. I've seen 3 of them in theaters: Alice in Wonderland, Aladdin, and just recently Little Mermaid. I don't necessarily. I rarely see these movies in theaters. I don't watch them. My favorite one is Jungle Book, and I guess you can count Christopher Robin. That's because that's it's basically a live action version of the Disney property. I like that movie a lot. But something about them is just like, what's the point in getting of like what's the point in going to watch them? They're just gonna come and go, and everybody just go back to like any of the originals.
You know what one I really loved? Like I just think it's absolutely one of the best. Cruella. Cruella with Emma
I
Stone.
like Cruella. I like
Yeah,
that one was
Cruella
so
actually
good.
I liked quite a bit because you know what that was? It wasn't really a live action remake. It was just like it basically was like what Maleficent tried to do, but if Maleficent was actually a good movie. You know,
See,
it was
I
like,
like I like
let's tell like
Maleficent a lot.
let's like recontextualize the
Mm.
story of a character. Like, do you like kind of a pseudo remake of 101 Dalmatians, but not not exactly. So
See, I actually like Maleficent a lot. I don't like the second one. I don't like Maleficent 2, but that first one I really enjoyed. And one of the things I liked about it is they changed the ending. And I didn't know, spoiler alert for a movie that's like a decade old now, but I didn't know. I kept expecting it to realign with the fairy tale. So like I thought like the prince was going to kiss her, and like I kept thinking at some point it's going to realign and get back. And when they went in a different direction, it totally blindsided me because it never occurred to me that they would do that. Like I kept thinking, no, at some point that this is how the story goes. They're gonna, so they kind of caught me by surprise. So I like that, but I didn't like the sequel at all, though.
yeah. Well, yeah, and there's just been like a string of bad ones to me. Like I said, I really didn't like The Lion King. I really didn't like what they did with Mulan. I was very disappointed with the
it
Mulan
was
one.
boring.
Because I caught that on Disney Plus because I wasn't going to see that in theaters.
And nobody will pay $30 for it. Nobody's gonna pay 30.
Listen. I paid the $30 for Mulan and Jungle Cruise. I did back in the day when those were like Disney Plus releases. I actually really liked Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise I thought was actually pretty good.
See, I paid $30 back in 2021. I paid $30 for Rhino Last Dragon. I thought that was the best of those movies that were on $30, and Black Widow. And my mom, I wasn't gonna pay for Jungle Cruise because it just looked very average to me. But my mom wanted me to buy it because she likes rock movies, like Dwayne Johnson movies. So like, okay, I'll buy it. I mean, I watched it. It was okay. I just didn't think it was like $30 worthy. Like, nah,
Yeah.
I think Raya and maybe Black Widow was okay, but I think it's kind of
Black Widow I went to go see in the theater. I wasn't paying $30 for it simply because it's a Marvel movie. I wasn't gonna miss it in theaters. I wanted to see it in the theater.
Yeah, but I was like, at the time, I was kind of lazy. I was like, well, I mean, it's right in front of me, and then $30. And yeah.
Plus, in hindsight, that movie getting released on Disney Plus almost caused a major lawsuit. So,
well, yeah, yikes. So
Yeah, I was
uh,
not a fan of that $30 thing.
no. So I want to go back to so I just came in from so y'all talking about like wishing for films to fail. It was like people really. I was like, I don't like to see people wishing for movies to fail. Like, I'm not a big fan of that because like even if it's a movie that you don't like, or it's some of that, especially when you see that on Twitter, that stuff is really obnoxious. Like to see the amount of
most of that I've seen lately has just been like the DC stuff. People are like kind of like dancing on the corpse of movies,
That's also what I've been kind of that's what I've been saying. Just like especially with DC. Like, okay, DC has 3 bombs: Shazam, Flash, and the Blue Beetle. And people just every time these conversations about DC is always, which I understand, but they always keep bringing up the pitfalls of DC over and over again, while instead of just wanting them to succeed. I'm like, I want them to succeed, but we just keep bringing up their mistakes every single time. And it's like, I mean, I get it. They make mistakes. Marvel made mistakes so many times. Sure, they're bigger now. I mean, they got so many successes, but I feel like just was saying the same thing over and over again. I like competition. I want DC, Marvel to do well. I mean, they want them. I just, it's just they always just people repeat the same thing over and over again. Just like we get it, DC's not is in a I guess a crisis, I guess, but I think they'll be fine. I think that they'll be okay.
Going back, Anthony says Halloween Ends was terrible. I going back to what we were saying previously. Halloween Ends. It's not a good movie, but I find it an impossible movie to hate because it takes big risks. They don't work. They don't work, but it really takes some big swings and some big chances, and it's never boring. It's one I've seen it 3 times. And it's one of those movies where every time I watch it, I'm sitting there fascinated going, wow, they really tried something different here. It doesn't work, but it's really interesting. It's really interesting that they went this way. And I actually think it's a more rewatchable movie than some of the like more meh Halloween movies. It's like, okay, it's bad, but it's interesting bad.
I mean, I can cut. Yeah,
Interesting bad isn't nearly as fun as funny bad though. Like it doesn't have Busta Rhymes fighting Michael Myers or karate moves. You know?
That's true, and that's a fun movie too for all the wrong reasons. But like something like Halloween 5, I just find that one boring. Like I watch that and I'm like, I'm just bored with this. And Curse of Michael Myers, Paul Rudd's in it. That's good. But I'm like, they bore me. Like, and I was never bored with Halloween Ends. I don't really like it.
Halloween Ends was just like the first. We got the 2018 movie, which I like. Halloween Kills was also I like. I like Halloween Kills. At least
I love Halloween
Kills.
I
mean, people crap on Halloween Kills. I'm like, at least that movie has Michael Myers killing people, hence the title. What do you give a Halloween Ends?
It's got like some amazing, like in terms of like Michael Myers kills, it's got some great kills. I mean, that's some stupid characters that get killed, but I mean, it's kind of like the trope, But it's a lot of fun. Like just like it's a messy plot. The plot's very messy, but it's a lot of fun. So
exactly, I think you had to expect dumb characters in slasher films every so now and then. Characters just. They run and they suddenly trip and fall, like when you step on a hole or something on the ground. You expect that. At least Halloween Kills, you see Michael Myers killing people, and that's the fun of it. Halloween Ends, what they do? Oh yeah, for the finale or the quote unquote finale of their Halloween series, let's add a random character named Corey as the main character, and just, I mean, I don't know. I watched videos after that movie was out, and I see some people who like that, see what they were trying to do, but I was like, it's a Halloween movie. I feel misled and stuff. I'm like, goodness, good gracious, it would have been awesome, but damn, it just wasn't. It's really just a bore fest of a movie.
See, I didn't find it boring. I find it fascinating. Like it's one of those movies. Like I'm looking forward to rewatching it, but I don't like it. That's the thing. It's like, so it's a really. I'm so mixed on that movie. Like I have such mixed feelings on that movie.
Like, okay, I mean,
yeah, I do need to figure out what I'm gonna rewatch and watch for Halloween this year. Like in terms of like movies I'm gonna watch this month, because I still have not like determined that at all. I mean, I'm gonna probably go see Five Nights at Freddy's, but like
I'm definitely seeing that. I'm definitely seeing Five Nights at Freddy's. October's been pretty. It's kind of a dry month for movies. Five Nights at Freddy's is the only one that's out this month.
Well, that's why the theaters are kind of nervous right now, because the fall season's a lot lighter. Like October and November is a lot lighter than normal.
I think Taylor Swift will see them through.
Oh God.
I mean, she's probably gonna save the theaters this month.
Imagine.
I mean, it's already got $100 million in pre-sales alone for the opening weekend.
I checked Friday night at my local theater, and every show on the hour, they have a show on the hour. All theaters, like completely sold out. They may have 1 or 2 empty seats, but they're pretty much filled to capacity.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna take my mom to it because you know, go,
I'm-
you know, something
I
nice for us
predict-
to go and do together. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
bro. And like, you know what? That I was like, when I first saw like one of the posts on Twitter, everybody is like, Taylor Swift concert is trying to make $100 million. I was like, wait, what? There's a Taylor Swift?
Oh no, there's a chance now it could beat Barbie for like biggest opening of the year domestically. At
A
least.
concert film, which
Yeah.
I'm not against that. I'm just like, oh,
And Beyonce's doing it now.
yeah,
she's
Yeah,
going
well,
into
well,
summer.
well, I saw that too, and like I think her movie's dropping in December, and apparently that might impact other movies trying to release stuff in premium formats. I guess I don't know.
Is this a trend now? Is this a trend now? It was like we're seeing a bunch of movies. We're seeing a bunch of concert movies. This is like, are they doing it again? You remember that Hannah Montana concert movie that came out a couple years ago? The Jonas Brothers concert.
There's
movie?
like a One Direction one too.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Like
Probably. I think you're going to see theaters have to do more and more special kind of events and stuff they normally wouldn't do just to keep the money going. Honestly.
Yeah, we need Justin Bieber concert movie part 3. We had 2 of them earlier. Come on, man.
Daniel Martin says the angry mob aspect to Halloween Kills was interesting. Evil dies tonight will live on forever. And that just means I have to show this clip again because I love this. This was from Dragon Con 2022.
Oh, look, it's Michael Myers. Oh my God, it's true. Evil cries tonight. Oh, I thought it was just a catchphrase, but he really's crying. Cheer up.
Those 2 guys didn't even know each other. I just happened to see them standing near each other, and I was like, hey, you guys play along with a bit? So there you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested what's going to happen with that Taylor Swift movie. If it's going to make like, imagine like $200 million opening weekend.
Well, the theaters keep adding more and more showings to meet the demand, so I don't know.
my goodness.
Every other movie, I have to wonder what Martin Scorsese thinks about all this because like his movie comes out the next week right after, and I don't even know how many screens he's going to get for his movie, which I want to see, by the way. I do want to see Killers of the Flower Moon because it looks like a very fascinating story. I do want to go see it.
It's another like 4-hour one, right?
3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only 3. Okay, I thought he went 4 hours ago.
I don't know about that.
Is it 4 hours? I don't know, actually.
It's 3 hours and 3.5 hours near. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's good. I mean, see, I don't mind seeing 3-hour movies. I after watching Avatar, which I like Avatar, The Way of Water, that movie was just, I don't know, something about it it was just too long for me.
Oh, for me, I didn't feel the length at all. I was into the story and everything.
I
so
mean,
it was good.
I mean, there were parts where I'm into it. Just, I don't know. I maybe I might watch it again. I think it came out at a weird time for me. It was like, I mean, I think the only 3-hour movie that I would told I watch like again and again more than once is The Batman. And not because it's a comic book movie, but because it's a good story, and I'm just like so in tune with it. I don't know.
I think I've seen the Batman 5 times at this point, maybe 6.
I need to.
So
I haven't seen that one since the theater. I didn't care for that one, but someone told me I should watch it again at home. Someone said that it might play better at home.
Oh yeah, I watch it on HBO. I watch it on HBO Max like dozens of times. I mean, like I play it through and through. That was I think the first 3-hour movie that I actually would watch over and over again.
Jacob says, did we see that A24 is currently leading the bidding war for the TV rights to Halloween? Now, last I heard, Paramount was winning the bidding wars. So I don't know.
no,
that
the
changed.
last update is that A24 is apparently going to the ones that
24,
are
like,
leaders right now.
I thought it was Universal because I thought they had the
No.
right.
Well, they had
They have
the
the
rights.
movie rights, not the.
Well,
the,
I don't even think they have the movie rights anymore. I think they had them for 3 films, and I mean, they could get him again, but right now I think they're back with Malika Akkad, who owns the franchise.
I mean, I think what they could do is for a TV show, just how originally Halloween was supposed to be like a anthology film.
Yeah,
Like they could do something like that.
well, I want Paramount to get it. I'm really hoping Paramount gets it because the word is Paramount was going to turn it into a TV series based on Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And I'd love to see that. That's my favorite of the Halloween movies. So it's like if they could turn that into a series, like that would be a lot of fun. Especially if they can get Tom Atkins back. So.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I don't want them to do some weird, crazy stuff like the A24 does all the time with like Michael Myers. Is he gonna turn into a spiritual ghost like in the earlier movies again?
I'm not an A24 fan. Oddly enough, I just got an A24 movie on 4K today. Talk to Me, which is disappearing into my background. But this is the rare A24 movie I actually enjoy. Well, A24 horror, I should say. I don't really like their horror movies. They're more dramatic films, outside the horror genre. I enjoy them, but I don't know. They get a little too weird with their horror. Like I hated Hereditary. Everybody was like, "Oh, that movie was so great." I'm like, "Really? Did we see the same movie?" I'll tell you what I want to do though. I'm hoping to do this. I'm going to go tomorrow. Back in 1996, the movie Scream came out, and it was a real big hit. Obviously, everyone loved Scream. And there was talk of a sequel. We didn't have a sequel yet. And some guy posted on the internet that if you send him $10, he's not profiting. He said this is just for shipping and the VHS tape. For just $10, he would send you a copy of his amateur sequel to Scream called Scream Louder. Virtual backgrounds are terrible. They make everything disappear. Yeah, so I got this on VHS, the amateur sequel to Scream, Scream Louder. Let me turn off my virtual background so that I can actually show this thing. All right, so this is a VHS tape from I got in 1996. Scream Louder, Run Faster, Breathe Harder, Scream Louder, and it's kind of hilarious. It's all done on a VHS camcorder, shot around Florida, Jacksonville and Orlando, Florida, and I have gotten this. I always say this is the best $10 I ever spent because this movie is. It's terrible, but I don't want to be disparaging. This is some young kid with a camcorder shot this. Like a high school kid shot this.
Oh,
he's not a high school kid anymore, but at the time. So I also have mad respect for this because it's like he put a lot of work into this, but it's kind of hysterical. So tomorrow I'm planning to take this to the mall. And there's a store at the mall that will digitize old VHS tapes, put them on a thumb drive for you. And I want to get this put on a thumb drive. And I'd like to, before the Halloween season is over, have a watch party for Scream Louder. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think people will get a kick out of it because it's ridiculous.
oh boy.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So I don't know. Anyone got anything interesting to talk about? Because I really just was kind of hot under the collar about this this interesting desire. And like you said, it's not. This is one instance. This is this guy mid-level media going off about The Exorcist, but we've seen it a lot lately. We've seen it with The Flash. We saw it with. I've seen it with Blue Beetle. People were thrilled Blue Beetle failed.
Well, it's like Twitter. Okay, I think Twitter is like Twitter that doesn't represent the majority, but gosh, Twitter is too annoying right now. It's like I remember. So RJ, when the episode of Ahsoka dropped, right? Everybody's
Which one? The finale?
Yeah, the finale. Everybody was going all up on this fight between her and Morgan. I was like, first, when I watched it, that was a cool choreographed fight. Everybody was dogging on it, and then and I see people say like, "Oh my God, Dave Filoni did a good job," and like, and everybody's like, just like, "What, are you joking?" And everybody was like putting people's excitement down. And it's like, it was just fucking, it was stupid. It was ridiculous. I was like, "What the hell?" Like, and everybody was just like picking apart scenes and stuff where Ezra, Sabine, and Soka were like fighting those zombie troopers and stuff.
Well, that's the issue with Star Wars right now, is that sadly they've divided their fan base. And what I mean by that is that based on what I've seen, they divided their fan base between people who like the Andor style Disney Plus stuff and the people who like the Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau style stuff, which is causing issues because you can't have both, right? In the eyes of people, right? So that's kind of the issue that we're seeing. Is just like there are people now who just want more Andor style Star Wars stuff, and there are people who just want Dave Filoni style Star Wars stuff. There's no room in the middle anymore, you know.
See, to me, this is why I'm not necessarily that. I like Star Wars. I'm just not that big into it because of mostly just because of just the shit that's around it for some reason. It's like my favorite Star Wars movie is Rogue One. I like Rogue One. I thought that's my favorite. That's my favorite Star Wars movie, and my favorite Star Wars show is Rebels. I wasn't much of a Star Wars fan up until, well, I mean, I know a lot. I know Star Wars, but I don't like get into them. I'm not like super. I don't indulge myself with a bunch of Star Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like certain things. Rebels was my thing. Rogue One was a good movie, and everybody was clutching the pearls over Last Jedi, and people so talked about it 6 years later. I'm like, good gosh, I get over it. And so with some of the live action shows, I mean, I like Ahsoka, and basically Rebel season 5, my favorite Star Wars show again. So
Mm-hmm.
I like Mando, and Mando season 1, 2, and 3 were pretty solid. Some episodes are pretty shoddy. Boba Fett was Mando 2.5 for some reason. They don't even know where that show was headed. And I like Star Wars when I'm one of those people that like Star Wars when it's a little bit different. Like, I get people's criticisms about Star Wars as being fan service, basically. Almost any Star Wars content, they always reference the original trilogy. They mention the Clone Wars. They meet like these new characters. These new characters be older characters. And it's like a lot of that kind of felt like, well, we got to get these. Well, we got to add this character so people can watch our show, because they won't get attached to these new characters. That's how I kind of see it.
Mm-hmm.
Rebels obviously did that for season 1, and they did that in the show, but it's not every episode, I feel. That's what some of these live action shows were kind of doing, but I don't know. I still like Star Wars. I mean, every time I see Ahsoka, when she sees Anakin in the World Between Worlds, I mean, I was like, oh, that's cool and all, but I wasn't like super ecstatic about it. I say that shit for Ezra. I was like, oh my God, I found Ezra, my boy. So I don't know. I just felt like Star Wars gets lumped into that fan service route, because every time you watch something Star Wars, it always goes back to like the original trilogy, which is not a bad thing. I just think they always keep doing it.
By the way, we got a $5 super chat here from Rational Skeptic, who says Steve Shives and others were ranting on Twitter today saying Ahsoka is fan service to buy Disney to appease toxic Star Wars.
Yeah, that's something I've seen a lot too, where it's like that's what happened when The Rise of Skywalker came out too, where it was like, well, it was partially true. They did do some stuff to kind of like try and appeal to people who didn't like the Last Jedi, so I can't say completely they're wrong about that, but yeah.
I used to like Steve Shives. I had to unsubscribe from him. he gets a little weird.
I don't know who that is.
He does great Star Trek content. He does like really good breakdowns on Star Trek, but like and not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to get into politics here, but he's extremely liberal. I have no issues with that. But the thing is, he did like a whole video trashing Chick-fil-A. And it's like, okay, look, the political stance, if you have issues with Chick-fil-A and their stances on homosexuality, I get it. That's fine. But he went as far as to say, and their chicken tastes terrible. The only reason people eat there is because they want to own the libs. And I'm like, okay, now you're being ridiculous.
Yeah,
their
that's not
chicken
true.
is delicious. I don't care what you call it.
Not even that. Chick-fil-A, in my experience and based on where I live, they have the best customer service at any fast food place ever.
Yeah.
Like their customer service is insanely good. You just want to go there all the time because like it's fast, it's efficient, and they're nice. Can't say that about anywhere else I go.
Yeah, it's like if someone tells me I can't eat Chick-fil-A because of the politics, I get it. That's cool. I'm not going to criticize you one way or the other, but let's not go so far to try to make your point that we're going to make stuff up. Like, I mean, people love Chick-fil-A, and they've loved Chick-fil-A because maybe he doesn't like Chick-fil-A, maybe he doesn't like the taste of Chick-fil-A, but to say the only reason people eat there is to own the libs, it's like, come on, that is so not true.
Oh, trust me, I've had people who I follow who want some people to not eat Chick-fil-A because of the political reasons. But I was like, I really don't pay attention to that. I just like when I get hungry, I go to Chick-fil-A. And even if every Sunday, I was like, you know what, I go Chick-fil-A. That bitch is closed. I feel like I keep forgetting every freaking Sunday.
Yeah. It's like I even knew a gay guy who would go to Chick-fil-A and he'd come back and he'd be like, I feel really guilty about this, but their chicken's delicious. So it's like, don't tell me their chicken's not good. I don't know.
Want being someone with me. Hey, I mean, if that blows your mind, I mean, I cool, I guess. If your mind is blown, even though it's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, hey, a lot of people like Rogue One. So.
I mean, I like Rogue One. I like Gareth Edward. I know, just be honest. This is I know this is not DL's hot takes and all, but I feel like everybody's saying everybody's favorite Star Wars movie is like Empire Strikes Back. I hear that every time, and it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, I hear that any original trilogy is like. Is there anything else?
My three favorite Star Wars movies, like my three absolute favorites, are Empire, A New Hope, and Last Jedi.
And that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just like I like I like Rogue One. I like Solo, and what else? Actually, I like Revenge of the Sith.
I love Solo. I love Solo.
Yes, Solo's okay. Solo's all right.
Oh, yeah,
I've warmed up to it more over the years. Initially, when I saw it, I really didn't care for it, but I've grown softer to it lately.
We need an animated Star. I see. You know what they should do if for all the crazy if Lucasfilm is having trouble with their plans and stuff, trying to get Star Wars into films again. You know what they should do? They should make an animated Star Wars movie, not Clone Wars, something that's more like Spider-Verse, like the Star Wars Visions type movie.
I wouldn't mind an animated Star Wars movie if they change up the animation style. I really don't like the animation on Clone Wars, and I like Rebels, but I don't like the animation on Rebels. I think the people look terrible. Like the aliens, the droids, they look fine, but
I watched Rebels, but some of the character designs, especially like the background characters, you can tell they reuse models and just put different skin colors on them. But I would like to see because Lucasfilm has Industrial Light Magic. So Industrial Light Magic can do animation. You know that movie Rango from Johnny Depp? That was from ILM, and then that was good. That was great animation. And then they're doing the animation for the animated Transformers film that comes out next year. So that's all of them.
But even it's all owned by Disney. So even if they did imagine what Pixar could do with a Star Wars movie.
Well, isn't that kind of what Star Wars Visions though is doing a lot, especially is they're really just allowing animation teams to come in and kind of play around in the world.
Yeah, they're doing it all. They're doing it all in the anime style though. Like I even if
no. Season 2. Did you see season 2 of Visions? They had They had Aardman Animation who do the Wallace and Gromit stuff come in and do a special. They had South African animators, French animators. Like they reached out beyond just Japan for season 2. Actually.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Aardman did a special. I think it had the Aardman one focused on X-Wing pilots, I think.
I have not seen.
I don't remember though.
Well, I think I've seen one of them where it's like this like what was it the woman with the yellow lightsaber that was fighting the one Sith dude. It was called Sith or something. It was like she was originally a Sith apprentice, so she had to fight a former Sith apprentice had to fight her Sith master. That was a good short. So I want to, you know what? If they do a season 3, I want to see what like shorts from Pixar or Disney Animation themselves can do. Like it's like a what if thing. They don't have to do like I don't think they have to do a movie. I feel like Pixar is already good on their own with their original stuff. And look at Elemental. People thought that movie crashed and burned, but look, it came back. It had a comeback. So Pixar I don't think Pixar need to do IP films, even though, and I think they have ILM, or Lucasfilm Animation, they can easily do whatever they want and maybe put like a Spider-Verse kind of style going on, like make it all it'll be just awesome. I want something a little bit different, like more different than like Star Wars.
Yeah, I'd be into that. I'd go see it. But I sat through the Clone Wars movie, so clearly I'll sit through anything. That was painful.
Yeah.
The series got better, but the movie, man, I'll tell you. Oh, God, I saw that in the theater. I was alone. There was nobody else in that theater.
I was like, wait, you're the only one in a Star Wars movie? That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Was it opening weekend?
Yeah, summer of 2008. Of course, also, though, to be fair, I worked the night shift. So I used to go to the movies like really early in the day. But even still, a Star Wars movie you'd think would bring out like a matinee. You'd think like kids would be in that, but it was empty. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to just chime in for a little bit, and I'm going to head out. It's getting a little late, but it's nice talking with you guys.
Yeah, you too. In fact, I'm probably going to wrap things up pretty soon. One thing I will get into before we wrap it up, though, is kind of related, semi-related to the whole hoping things bomb thing. There seems to be a renewed push, especially on the internet, on I don't know, various YouTube channels, Twitter, social media, that if a movie bombs at the box office, that's proof it wasn't good. Like that's. Like I'll say to somebody that I really like The Flash, and they'll go, "That movie sucked. That bombed. That was a big failure." And it's like, have you never heard of The Big Lebowski? Have you never heard of Citizen Kane? Have you never heard of the list goes on? I'm not thinking right. Tron. I mean, it just goes on and on. The box office take of a movie just means that it didn't find its audience when it was in theaters. It's not an indicator of quality. Some of Blade Runner, movies that generations hold up there as like some of the greatest movies ever made, were all box office disasters. And the notion now that we're going to pretend that A equals B, box office failure equals, well, it failed because it wasn't good. That's never been true. That's never been true.
No,
It
trust
means
me.
nobody went.
Yeah. I'm gonna say one more thing before I leave. Yeah, trust me. Every like people who I follow and listen to, who always kind of go into that trope, that thing people be saying, like, I just want to go into the comments and just correct them on what they're saying and all that stuff. It just. I mean, I like the people who I follow, but they kind of irk me sometimes with what they're saying, like very uneducational. I feel so. Yeah, like Flash was. I like the movie fine, but Blue Beetle, like some. I mean, I don't know. Like if you're saying about like great movies bomb all, like there's some great movies that bomb. Like if I can think of like Kubo and Two Strings, that's a great movie. Freaking movie bombed.
Yeah, yeah, it happens all the time. One
Yeah.
movie that came up the other day when we were doing MME, I mentioned Josie and the Pussycats, the live action adaptation of the animated series, and that's a movie that was a total disaster at the box office, and it is now, in retrospect, looked back upon as a wonderful movie. And I think the problem there was they were marketing it to the wrong crowd because it was a very kind of cynical film that was really more for adults. But
Yeah,
they
they
were
marketed
aiming it
probably
as a
like little
teen film.
girls. Yeah, teens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it just the adults didn't go see it, and the kids hated it because it wasn't really for them, and it just didn't find its audience.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies of the last like 5 years was Blade Runner 2049.
Mm-hmm.
And that did not do very well, which
No.
saddened me because it was an amazing movie. It deserved to do a lot better. Just just like the original Blade Runner didn't do very well. It just box office doesn't make a movie. I mean, if that was the case, then the Michael Bay Transformers movies would win Oscars every year.
Right.
But
And Media Archive Mike brings up Vertigo. I'll give you another one.
So, yeah,
Real quick,
I'm about
we are going to be wrapping this up. So
I'm
real
about to
quick,
head
let
out,
me-
you guys. But it's nice talking to you. Have a good night.
Yeah,
Thanks,
have a
Blue
good
Jay.
night, Blue Jay. Thanks for popping in.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, see you, RJ.
So yeah, it's almost the end of the show, and what is this? Somebody. All right, somebody uploaded something to my profile on the. I did not upload this. I'm gonna play this right now because I got to see what this is. Somebody else uploaded this to my channel.
are you sure you want to play it? We might not. It might be like something dangerous. Who knows?
I don't know. Let's take a risk. Let's take a
Okay.
chance here. Of course, you know what? I don't mind with my channel, but I don't want to get Max in trouble because he already had some problems. All right, maybe I'll play this off air. Somebody added something like a 13-second clip under my video clips.
Does it have a name? Like a title?
It just says "Was up."
Oh, that's from the Scary Movie movies, isn't it?
Well, it's originally from those Bud commercials, but I can't tell. Is this the clip from Scary Movie, or is this like someone doing a riff on it, or I don't know.
You know what? Let's see it.
All right.
Yo, Dugan, pick up the phone.
Yo.
What's up?
Yeah, it's from Scary Movie.
Yeah. I wonder who uploaded that because I didn't put that there, and it's on my profile on the. I guess somebody must have given the wrong profile.
Somebody probably meant to upload it for a different one.
That's all right. I'll keep it. What the heck? I could go to that every now and then. All right. Hey, RJ, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Of course, yeah.
And everyone, stay tuned. My full review of Exorcist Believer is going to be coming soon. And I'm going to be digitizing this so we could do a Scream Louder watch party. Believe me, it's worth your time. In fact, I should reach out. I should try to get in touch with the guy who wrote and directed this and see if I can get him to join us. The thing is, I don't want him to think we're making fun of him because this is a goofy like movie and it is very funny. but I have nothing but respect for it. I have nothing but respect for the fact that somebody who was like probably a high school senior at the time, maybe
Yeah.
a college
You want a
freshman.
genuine interview, not like oh, your movie's dumb. Let's make fun of it. It's more like just like getting to understand the
Yeah,
process behind making it and all that. Yeah, I get that.
yeah. So it's I don't know. I wouldn't mind inviting him on to join us, so long as he knows that we're not like making fun of him. Like I want him to know that. So, but that trust me when I say if we have a watch party of that, it's worth your time showing up. It's fun. So, oh, and here we go. Daniel Martin again says Scream 4 was the lowest grossing of the franchise, but it's gained a renewed interest as the years went by. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's not really a bad Scream movie.
The closest is the one that I'm about to watch when this stream is over. Scream 3 just came out on 4K.
See, okay, yeah, Scream 3, it's the black sheep of the franchise, but it's still a good movie. It's got some wonkiness to it, but I like what it was going for. You know?
I don't hate it, but it's really got some problems. I think problem number one is that Kevin Williamson was busy making Teaching Mrs. Tingle, so a new screenwriter came in, Aaron Kruger, and Aaron Kruger.
And you could tell it's a new screenwriter. Yeah.
To be kind, Aaron Kruger is not a good screenwriter. He wrote most of the Michael Bay Transformers movies. He's I probably shouldn't say this. In fact, I won't say it outright because I don't want to slander the man. But I know someone who he's tangentially connected to a friend of mine. And from what I understand, he's not the nicest guy. Let's put it that way. That's
I think the biggest issue with Scream 3, like you mentioned, is the script, but also I think it probably has like the worst killer in the series, like the one that's like not interesting whatsoever.
And that is a victim.
And it doesn't really connect very well to like the past movies, you know?
And that's a victim of the original script leaking to the internet, because originally it was supposed to turn out at the end.
Spoilers.
That, yeah, well, I mean, spoilers for something that didn't happen, but it was supposed to turn out at the end that Stu Macher had survived the first movie and was orchestrating everything from his prison cell. But when the word got out about that, they real quick were like, we got to change the ending. And I think we got an inferior ending because they had to rewrite it at the last minute.
See, I didn't know that. I was not aware of that's what happened.
Because
there's always been rumors about them bringing back Matthew Lillard for like one of the newer Scream movies, but they've never done it. You know, everyone keeps asking and like, are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they have to now because they've teased it for like 2 movies now. So,
but you can't do it without Neve Campbell though. You have to bring her back. So hopefully they figure out that pay dispute.
I got. You might be right with that one. You know, for if you're bringing Stu back, you might have to have Neve Campbell back. But I kind of don't want Neve Campbell back. And the reason is I feel like if you bring Neve Campbell back, you're just going to kill her off like that. Like I feel like
that's the only logical conclusion left at this point. Yeah,
right. But she's got she's a wife now. She's got a husband. She's got kids.
Well, yeah, you could bring back Patrick Dempsey because apparently she married his character from Scream 3.
But it's like I'd like her to get a happy ending. It's like I don't want to see her come back.
Gale they brought back and they haven't killed off Gale. I mean, they did kill off. Spoiler alert for Scream 5. They did kill off Dewey, but I mean that was like it's the legacy sequel. Somebody has to die, you know?
Right.
So just ended up being David Arquette.
And I have a feeling that we're going to see Courtney Cox go in Scream 7. I think she's going to die because now they brought back Hayden Panettiere, or as I like to call her, Hay Pants. So now that Hay Pants is back as Kirby, I feel like it's like, well, we got another legacy character coming back. So
maybe I don't know. I thought Kirby was just medium in Scream 6. I like seeing her come back. Obviously, it was cool to see her. I just wish that her character didn't really have as much to do as I would have liked. And you know, but you know, it was nice seeing her. You know, so.
Real quick, Connor says, sorry for being late. Good to see you, Connor. Just got out of The Exorcist. Look forward to watching your stream. I just got out of The Exorcist myself. I quite enjoyed it. Really, well, curious to hear what you thought, Connor. I really liked it. And last question, Rational says, what's my favorite Halloween movie? I actually already said what it was earlier. It's Season of the Witch. If you want to go with a traditional Michael Myers movie, then it's kind of a toss-up between the original and H2O, which I felt was the best Michael Myers sequel. Those are my two favorite of the Michael Myers movies. But I love.
Well, that's why I'm
Rush.
interested if they make a Halloween TV show, because I think I forget where I read this, but I thought A24, the rumor for the A24 pitch is that they wanted it to be set in the world of Halloween 3 and be an anthology show. Like that's what they would do with the Halloween property, not do a Michael Myers TV show, but do like an anthology series with Halloween.
See, that's what I heard Paramount wanted to do. Now that I'm hearing I don't know,
or maybe I got it mixed. Maybe it is Paramount that wanted to do that. I just heard that was one of the ideas. That's
why I was kind of rooting for Paramount to get the rights, because I was like, you know what, I'd watch the heck out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Halloween would do good as an anthology series. I think it's kind of where they probably should have gone a while ago, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, RJ. Thanks for joining us. Gonna wrap this one up, and everybody, keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the plastic feet.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Tell everyone you meet.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the back door flap.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Don't open it, it's a trap.
Oh no,
it's a trap. Some people call them peaches, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny Commander Adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas.
I know we're having fun.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
And now the song is done.
See here. Crazy Joe Megapodtastic writes, I heard there's a deleted scene in Dune where Jason Momoa's Duncan Idaho trips and falls in the sand. When he stands up, everybody points and yells, hey, looks, it's Sandy Duncan. You talking about the Broadway and film actress Sandy Duncan? That's a deep cut. You're welcome. All right, Crazy Joe, thanks for sending that in, man.
Oh, look, it's Michael Myers. Oh my God, it's true. Evil cries tonight. Oh, I thought it was just a catchphrase, but he really's crying. Cheer up.